Have you done your maths in the introduction? If you've skipped it, let me do the magic for you. Welcome back, my name is Stephen Hollander, and in this episode of the series I will introduce you to the wonderful number 9. First, please stop here and repeat these same steps for 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Now, let's jump right to the question of the square of 9. Have you ever asked why this obsession with the number 9? Gann called his square of 9 the square of odd and even numbers. Why? Because it is an ancient method that still applies. Why does it apply? Simply because by arranging 9 numbers into order, they will naturally make up a square. That's the only reason for calling it a square. But here's the trick. To create the perfect harmony within the square, you'll need to arrange the odd and even numbers into a specific order. Here's how. First of all, you put the middle number 5 into the center. Then you put the rest of the odd numbers around it, 1, 3, 7 and 9. Finally, you will fill in the empty fields with the even numbers, 2, 4, 6 and 8. When you see them now, they might look like a random arrangement, but as I've said, they create a perfect harmony. How? Add each line of numbers together, 3 numbers horizontally, 3 numbers vertically and 3 numbers diagonally. As you see, the result is always 15, the balance is perfect in every direction. But that's not all. Starting with the central number 5, add one of the odd numbers to it, and the result is the even number in the corner. Have you just had that aha moment? I do hope so. Now you will realize the same idea behind Gann's square. You start with one number in the center and the rest of them are whirling out like a spiral. But there is still more to this square. As you have just seen, it is all about balance. Naturally, when you add up the first 9 numbers, you will get 45. Without 5 in the center, each pair of numbers on its opposing sides will add up to 10. 4 times 10 is 40, which also equals to 8 times 5. Therefore, you see 1 times 5 in the center and 8 times 5 around it. And here it gets really interesting. You already know from our previous videos how to count to 12 on one hand and use your other hand to multiply it and count to 60. Let's take it further and use both hands as a base for 12. Let's multiply 12 by 6, 7, 8 and 9. Again, this should ring a bell. What do you know about zeros? It is the same principle. What principle? 0 does not count. But let's go back to the beginning. This is the only great secret of 9. If the sum of the digits equals to 9 or 18, which is 1 plus 8, that is 9, then you'll know that the number can be divided by 9. But are any of these useful to us? I would debate if they've been of too much use for Gann himself. But this was not meant to be one of those hundreds of videos about Gann where you listen to a babble for 20 minutes without learning anything useful. Instead, let me go back to our numbers and share what I think Gann really did. I will return to all these numbers, but for now let's stick with our basic set. In a previous video about cycles, I referred to designated points that will possibly correspond to a regular measure that you can define. The most incomprehensible thing about cycles is that they can expand and contract. But it is much easier to understand a linear concept, which means when things go along a line. So this is what we'll do. Instead of illustrating our cycles with concentric circles, we will think of them as a spiral. Now let's define that regular measure. Let's suppose we have found a number that seems to work, and let's say it's number 4. To test our measure, we go back towards the origin, which means the point of 0 in this case. We find that numbers 2 and 1 worked retrospectively. This will give us a suggestion. As we have used 1, 2 and 4, the next number to watch will be 8. But unfortunately there is no reaction at 8. So now we check again retrospectively and realise that there was a reaction earlier at number 6. Also, as we go back towards our origin, we realise that there was a reaction at number 3. So now we use another measure, 3 and 6, which means that we will expect our next reaction at 12. Now let's just make it a little bit more difficult. It doesn't matter because the principle, the mode of operation, is still the same. Let's suppose we have found that number 48 worked. To test our measure, we go back towards the origin and find reactions at 12 and 24, retrospectively. This measure sets the next number, 96. But we find it doesn't work, so we realise that numbers 36 and 72 are in the picture. All this means our next number to look out for is which one? 144, obviously. You get the idea. But in most cases you will face a serious problem over the course of time on real-time charts. As you go further and further away from your origin, your numbers will get bigger and bigger. Which means you will have to wait longer and longer, and the longer you wait, the more impatient you will get. You will start to speculate. Now let's just go back and ask, did it help you to know that these numbers are all related to 9? Did it help you to know that these are so-called astrological or so-called ancient cyclical numbers, and this one also appears in the Bible? Would it help you to abandon or distort your measure and insert another number here just because it is also related to 9? But these questions are just rhetorical here because I have answered all of them previously. Do not overcomplicate what's simple. Remember, anybody can make anything work because it is easy to arrange numbers based on the past. Never forget how they unfold in real time. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please see the link in the description for all the related videos. Feel free to comment and please follow my channel.